Discovery during home renovation leads to FBI investigation. When a couple from Ohio bought a house that needed some renovations, they were more than up to the task. They love DIY projects and were ready to take this one on. They started out with the first 2 floors and then focused on the basement. However, the basement proved to be a lot more strange than the initial renovations, so much so that the FBI had to get involved. Before we begin, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for daily amazing videos. Their house was originally built in the 1940s, an older style home that had a unique character of its own. Almost immediately after starting the most labor-intensive portion of the project, they started to notice some strange signs. Little did they know things were about to get a whole lot more strange. The basement walls were covered in graffiti, which, although annoying, wasn't that hard to take off. Luckily, they took pictures of the entire process to see their progress. When the husband began tearing down the dilapidated ceiling, he immediately started calling for his wife. As the ceiling parts began crashing down, the man noticed there was something hidden within the wood. A suitcase had been hidden in between the rafters, suggesting someone wanted to keep whatever was inside safe. They immediately pulled the green and gray striped suitcase down and opened it up. As he pulled it down, he realized how heavy it was. The weight was surprising because of the size of the actual suitcase, which was rather small. He began taking photos of the entire process, hoping to share his interest in discovery on social media. Before they opened the case, they decided to take a guess at what was inside. Realizing how dated the case was, their imagination went wild. However, they never expected to see what they did when they finally lifted the top. When they first opened the suitcase, their eyes rested upon packages wrapped in tissue paper. At first, they couldn't tell what was inside, but after taking a closer look, they realized they'd just hit the jackpot. As they unwrapped each of the packages, they saw loads and loads of cash. The first package had lots of 20s, and old 20s at that. The man thought there must have been thousands of dollars wrapped up in there and was in utter shock. He couldn't believe how lucky they were, and it only got better from there. There were 2 more bundles of cash in the suitcase, worth even more. The other packages were full of $50 and $100 bills. They truly couldn't believe their luck. The bills were dated from 1928 to 1934, and they started to realize that the oldest bills were probably worth more than their face value. So many questions surrounded the origin of the suitcase. How old was it? Where did it come from? Who left it and why? Although they couldn't answer all of them right away, they did find a clue that would help solve the mystery. At the bottom of the suitcase, they found a newspaper clipping that was dated back to March 25, 1951. The clipping was from the local paper, the Cleveland Plain Dealer. Based on this clue, the money must have been at least 65 years old. As they investigated further, they realized just how valuable their discovery was. They found a few star bills, bills that are so unique that they're worth a tremendous amount. The star bills were over 70 years old and, once appraised, were valued at $23,000. The homeowner shared his story on Reddit saying, "This was a wild ride for us, and I hope you all enjoyed it too. We're boring people and have been dumping extra money to pay off our mortgage, and this is where this money will go to." The surprises weren't over yet. Little did this couple know the surprises had just begun. They continued to finish off their home improvements. They were about to stumble upon more surprises and something that would take the expertise of the FBI. As they continued to take down the dilapidated ceiling, they discovered another suitcase. Excitement filled their bodies as they imagined what could be inside the second one. If it was more cash, they would officially be the luckiest people in Cleveland. Taking pictures of the suitcases side by side, the man could only assume that the contents would be the same. The suitcase was jam-packed and heavier than the first one, but instead of wrapped cash, it was something else. Tons and tons of banknotes filled the suitcase, leaving the homeowners wondering how much they'd just stumbled upon. Hidden within the second suitcase was nearly $45,000. They truly couldn't believe what was unveiling right before their eyes. They decided they were going to put the second pot of cash toward their home, just like the first. Just when they thought they couldn't possibly be any luckier, they found a hidden door. At this point, they realized that their house was full of hidden secrets. So when they found this hidden door, they were eager to peek inside. Behind the door wasn't the ordinary water heater, but an entire secret room. The room clearly hadn't been used in years, and they were starting to wonder why someone would create it. Within the secret room was a heavily locked door, adding to the suspicion. Deciding to take a hammer to the lock, the man was determined to find what was inside. Instead of finding more money or treasure, he found another room, but this one was sinister. The room was made completely soundproofed, hidden deep within the walls of the home. He quickly realized that nothing good happened here, and he began to feel sick. Within the secret room was another suitcase. This one was brown and full of people's possessions: watches, rings, and silver blocks. Among these possessions was foreign currency from multiple different countries. Whoever had left these here clearly didn't want them to be found and went to great lengths to conceal them. Before they could even begin to unravel the mysteries behind these possessions, they found a safe. An eerie feeling came over them, and they were nervous about what was hidden inside. The first thing they saw safe was a creepy note that said, "Save yourself." If that wasn't disturbing enough, there were many tapes below the note. On the inside of the safe was a written warning saying, "Do not." They were getting the feeling that they'd stumbled upon something only a serial killer would keep around, and they decided it was time to call the FBI. Due to the horrific contents of the tapes, which were not specified to the general public, the FBI launched a full-fledged investigation into the origins of the tapes and content hidden within the home. This story is something that seems more like fiction than fact, but for this Cleveland couple, it was all too real.